On today's Child Seat Review segment, we're out here taking a look at the all-new 2016 Chevy Malibu. As usual, this is a Graco Classic Ride 50 child seat. It's a convertible seat suitable for forward or rearward-facing installation and children between 4 and 50 pounds. This generation of the Malibu is significantly longer than the last generation Malibu, and that makes this now one of the largest in the segment. That's really obvious when we take a look at the legroom numbers, because we have more legroom up front and in the back than we had in the last generation Malibu. It makes it a lot easier to put in rearward-facing child seats. As usual, I have moved this front seat forward, so I have about an inch of legroom between my knee and the dashboard. That's important in the event of an accident, and I've made the seat back as upright as is comfortable in this vehicle. That gives us a little bit more room in the back for a child seat. Thanks to the generous amount of combined legroom we find in all Malibu models, it means it's very easy to install a rear-facing child seat behind a 6-foot-tall adult up front. You can actually be a little bit taller than me and still comfortably sit up front because we have a decent amount of room between the front seat and this child seat. This is not latched into place. If it were, it would actually move about an inch further rearward, meaning you could move this seat a little bit further back to make it more comfortable for everybody. The Malibu is also one of the wider entries in this segment, and that means that if I move the child seat over here to the middle seating position, you can move the front seats about 5 inches further rearward in their tracks and still safely have a child seat in the center. As you'd expect from a mid-sized family sedan, I had no problem fitting these average-sized child seats across the rear bench. And if you get wider seats, you may have troubles fitting 3 across the back, but if you get narrower seats, you'll definitely have even more room. An interesting touch in the rear is that we don't have a center headrest in the Malibu. We do have adjustable side headrests, but there isn't one even fixed into place in this center section. That does mean that if adults are sitting in the center position here, they're a little bit more likely to get whiplash-style injuries than if they had a headrest that was positioned properly behind them. Headrests are not really for resting your head on, they're actually a safety feature to help prevent or reduce whiplash injuries, especially in rear-end style collisions. On the flip side, however, not having one makes it much easier to put a child seat in the center position and properly use the top tether anchor because there's no headrest to go over or go under or squish down with that belt. Another family-friendly thing to keep in mind is that the center console between the driver and the front passenger seat actually sticks out a little bit further towards the rear than other mid-sized family sedans. That means that the air vents are going to be a little bit closer to passengers, making them a little bit more comfortable, but if you have a little one right here in the middle, it's a little bit closer for them to kick. The turbocharged versions of the Malibu have just under 16 cubic feet of trunk capacity, which is fairly average for this segment. If you get the Malibu Hybrid, however, we lose about 5 cubic feet of storage space. Again, that's pretty average for the segment. However, I still can fit a 22-inch roller bag in this position or even turned on its side, but I could not put it upright like you do find in some vehicles in this segment. We don't have a spare tire under the cargo area load floor in the hybrid model, but we do have access to some of that storage space. Thanks to a large trunk opening, it's fairly easy to put a child seat right in the trunk on its side, and I was able to fit 3 child seats and some additional luggage even in this hybrid model. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. If you want to know more about the 2016 Malibu or the 2016 Malibu Hybrid, then stay tuned. We'll have a video up on that in the next day or so. I'll see you next week.